Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. I had to think before I started, what day is this? I thought I'll start with saying what day is it? It's Friday. I've lost track. Um, so I'm going over a few things today. It wasn't so much about tourist stuff over the last, well, the four or so days that I'm going to talk about, more practical and other interesting stuff. First of all, I wanted to correct a few things. First, in the last video, I said those 2 days were September 30th and October 1st. The second day was October 2nd, not October 1st. And I know that you're all keeping calendars and marking exactly what I'm doing every day, on these calendars. And I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. You know, I hope you're not doing that. I'm doing that, but I hope you're not doing that. Also, I want to mention the name of the wonderful, beautiful chocolate shop I went into in Schöneberg was called the Winterfeld Schokoladen. And you should go there. It's a beautiful, quaint, rustic, just a wonderful little shop that has a huge assortment of chocolates. And it's a great place. So go visit there if you can. On October 1st, I forgot I had a work back in the U.S. but virtual meeting in the afternoon, and I taught a lesson after that. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to go out and do a whole lot that day. But what I did do was register for an online German class. I really, I know it's possible to get by without knowing German very well here. Knowing a little is really, I think, necessary. But, just for interactions, most people speak some English, but I've come across a lot of people who don't. And I think it's just, you really feel more a part of really being here and not an outsider as much if you know as much German as you can. At my age, I don't know if I can become fluent. We'll see. But so I decided to start a German class through Speakeasy. That's the company I used. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we talk. But as I go on. But so I registered on October 1st for that. October 2nd, that was the Charlottenburg Day. Okay. Now we're on to October 3rd, which I didn't do a whole lot. I stayed in. I don't know why. I looked on the calendar and it was like I had nothing on there. It was a day off. Why didn't I go out? Maybe it was rainy. I can't remember. But I did have I had 2 lessons, actually. No, I didn't have the day off. Yeah, I had 2 lessons in the evening that I had to teach. But I still had the daytime off, so who knows? So, my feet were hurting. I was walking so much. So a lot of it is sometimes I needed a little rest. I'm old. Okay. So October 4th, this was kind of a big day. I ventured out into another part of Prenzlauer Berg. That's where I went on my first day out after I was in Alexanderplatz. This is something else I forgot to tell you. And this, is totally like crazy. But the first day that I went out and I went to Alexanderplatz in that area, I also went north of Alexanderplatz into Prenzlauer Berg a bit. And it's very pretty up there. And I went to a bakery lunch place that had sandwiches, and I got a sandwich. And I bought a drink that they made there, but it was to go put in a bottle that you could take back with you. And so I told him, I said, I probably won't be back here, but who knows? So I went and I found a bench. So I sat on the bench and had my lunch. it was kind of a mess. I was dropping things. My sandwich was falling apart as I was eating it. It was all over the ground. But anyway, and then I thought, all right, well, I'm still pretty close to the place. I'll just bring back the glass bottle. Well, I went back to bring back the glass bottle. And she goes, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. You left your wallet here. You know, I don't do that very often, but I was very lucky that I went back and got my wallet. I don't know what I think I was juggling a few things and just left it on the counter. So they were very nice and gave it, kept it and gave it back to me. So then I went and walked around. There's a water tower, a Wasserturm water tower. See, I'm learning things. And chestnut trees all around. I know now that they are horse chestnut trees, not real edible chestnut trees. We have a horrifying day where I'll tell you about that. That's later. But it was very pretty, and went through Kollwitzplatz and walked back down towards Alexanderplatz and came across the Volks Theater, which is a kind of a big blocky gray building, stone building that has like, Brecht stuff was done there, and it was like a famous theater that, had more like the voice of the people kinds of stuff playing there. And reading about it, it's gone through different hands and changed, and, right now is having, I guess, some problems. But in front of it was this tent on the grass, just in front of the building. And I could hear a bunch of stuff going on in there. There was some show going on in there. I couldn't go in because it had already started. But as I was walking by, all of the actors ran out of the tent and around it and came back in. So I got to sort of see the characters at least. I have no idea what this thing was. There was a lot of loud music and a lot of screaming. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, and I made my way back. So that was more of that day that I forgot to mention. Now I went to a different part of Prenzlauer Berg, a little quieter, and I came upon a very pretty little park. I came upon there's a lot of flyers posted around for different events going on. They're everywhere. And I came upon one that was for a show called Lesbians in the Forest. I never did go to it, but I don't know. It didn't sound like my thing. But Lesbians in the Forest. They had a really fun picture of women's arms sort of coming out of trees and things. It was, I'm not sure what it really was about. But anyway, and then I came upon, there was a beautiful church there, and I came upon, excuse me, an area where there were a lot of markings about where the wall was at that point, the Berlin Wall, which is der Mauer is the word for the wall. And there were plaques on the ground where the wall was, sections where the wall still was. They left up a few spots where you can still see there's one in Potsdamer Platz, and they have lots of information in all languages. Well, not all languages, in several languages, major languages that European, English, French, German, basically, I think. And you can read about some of the history. It's very interesting. And that was that day. But then I came back and I had my German class. And the teacher is very nice, very sweet, and speaks almost like 90% in German. So I was trying really hard to stay with it. And I was past I've studied a tiny bit of German for opera singing when I was younger. So I knew a little bit, but more in the pronunciation than in the meaning. So it was a little difficult staying with it. And It was stressful. I'll tell you. It was like I held my breath through the whole thing because I was just like, what's going on? And I was the only American in the class. People were from all over. It was an online class, so they could be from a lot of different places. And it was fine. It was just stressful. But anyway, that was my first day of German class. So the next day, and this will be the last day I talk about, October 6th, was a momentous day. I had lunch at an Italian restaurant. I had a lovely pasta with truffles, and you'll see truffles becomes a theme this day. And I had an appointment to open a bank account with Deutsche Bank. Now, originally I wanted to go with N26, which is an online bank that everybody was going with, that I talked to, who had moved here. And yeah, it would have been easy if the code that they send you in order to validate your being a human would come through my phone. It would not come through my phone. And we tried over and over and over, and we couldn't verify me, so we couldn't open the account. So that's why I did the Deutsche Bank one. But it turns out I think it was a good move because I'm not sure if this affects Americans in Germany, but I just read today that N26 is stopping American accounts as of early January. So I don't know if that would have affected me living in Berlin or not. I'm not sure. But I'm not a citizen of Berlin yet. So I don't know. Look into that because, it's not going to work anymore. Anyway, while I was waiting for my Deutsche Bank meeting, I had my second scam. This lovely Indian man came up to me. I don't know. I guess I have the face of a gullible person or something. But he came up to me. I was just sitting there on my phone, and he came up and he goes, "You have a very sad face." And I said, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "You're stressing way too much." I'm like, "Well, I am." And he said, you need to calm down. And he's like, "Put your hand here," or whatever. And I'm like, "Okay." And anyway, it was on some picture thing that he had. And then he goes, "What is your favorite color?" And I said, "Think of your favorite color and your favorite number." And I thought, okay, I know my favorite color. I don't really have a favorite number. So he crumpled up a piece of paper and put it in my hand. And he goes, "So what is your favorite color?" I said, "Purple." And he goes, "Open it up. What is your favorite color?" I said, "Purple." And he goes, it said blue on there. And he goes, "Well, don't you like blue too?" And I said, "Well, I do like blue." And he goes, "And your favorite number?" I said, "I don't have a favorite number." And he goes, "Well, if you could pick one, what would it be?" He was getting a little annoyed with me. I said, "All right, 7. I don't know. You hear lucky number 7. So I just went with that. He had written 7. I think a lot of people probably do that. And then he goes, "I am a poor wandering Swami or something, holy man of some sort from India. Can you give me some money or whatever?" And I gave him a little bit. And he goes, "Don't you have any paper money?" I gave him a coin or two. He goes, "Don't you have paper money?" And I'm like, wow, you guys are greedy here. Anyway, so I gave him, I didn't give him paper. I said, "No, I don't have any paper money." Anyway, then I went in and had my Deutsche Bank meeting, and it went very well. And I got my Deutsche Bank account, and that was a momentous moment for me. Then I went and sort of celebrated by going to 2 chocolate shops. One, Lederach, which is a Swiss chocolate shop next to Deutsche Bank. No, this is on Friedrichstrasse. And the Deutsche Bank, I'll mention also, this particular one, they have a lot of English-speaking people. They deal with a lot of Americans and Brits, and they answer questions easily. I thought, you know what, I know that there's issues with Deutsche Bank that some people have. But for the basic, the customer service, it's worth it for me. So they don't have a lot of ATMs. That is one of the problem. It's taken a while to find out where there is one near where I am. And I did find one near me, but there's not a lot of them. So anyway, I know this is going on for a while, but it's all interesting information, isn't it? Okay, so Lederach has amazing chocolate, and I am addicted to the Berg and several of the things there. Really good stuff. And then I went to a place called Rausch, which is kind of famous, and it's like 3 floors of a chocolate shop. And there were just truffles and truffles and truffles, and it just went on and on and on. And you could watch them making the chocolate. So I went and bought some things there too, and those were good as well. But Lederach might be my favorite so far that I've tried. Anyway, so I did that, and then I came home, and I had another German class, and relaxed a little more. I was breathing a little better, and then taught a lesson, a voice lesson, then taught my class with Brooklyn Children's Theater. I'm still doing an online class with them, and we're writing a show together, and that's really fun. And in the middle of that, an insanely loud fire alarm goes off in my apartment building. And I didn't know what it was. It's the first time I've heard it. I was just like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And I told the class, I'm sorry, I have to, I think, go. I think the apartment's burning down. Excuse me. I didn't know what was happening. So I stuck my head outside into the hallway, and other people were like, what's going on? And I said, I think we should leave, I think. So we went down the stairs. The elevator wasn't working. Went down the stairs, went outside. Turns out the firemen came. It was a whole big thing. Turns out some guy burnt his fish. Cooking dinner, burnt his fish. Now, the whole building's alarms go off, not just the one apartment's alarms, like in the U.S. that I've experienced anyway. So that was kind of crazy. Anyway, went back up, still had some more of the class. They were glad I was okay. And that was that. So the one other thing I want to talk about, because a couple of people have asked me about insurance. I'm going to go into this in more depth at another time, but I went with Feather, which has an expat insurance, which is not too expensive. It's like 80-something euros, I think, or around there a month. And it's very basic. There's not a lot on it, but it's enough to keep you here to get you your visa. Now, ultimately, you have to get off of that, and I'll talk about that another time, because this is getting way too long. Okay. Thank you. The next time we meet, I went to Dresden. I had a whole day in Dresden, and I can't wait to tell you about that. It was pretty amazing, and not too far from Berlin. So until then, thanks for listening. Bye.